G'day, and welcome to another episode of the Protect the Asset podcast. It's been created for results-driven personal trainers who want to build an online career that allows them to work less and earn more. I want this podcast to be a safe space where coaches can share their career journey, both the highs and the lows. A space where passionate coaches tell their story and inspire personal trainers to build a fruitful career that aligns with their purpose, visions, values, and goals. I also want to create a space where personal trainers can learn how to build and scale their career in a sustainable way. There is a 40% annual turnover rate amongst fitness professionals, meaning that by this time next year, 4 in 10 will have left a career they were once so deeply passionate about. It's time to stop sacrificing our health and happiness in the pursuit of an unsustainable career path. Personal trainers deserve a career that offers them both freedom and financial stability. Welcome to the Protect the Asset podcast.
My guest today is strength and conditioning coach Steve Collins. Steve and I both started our personal training career at the same commercial gym in Angel, London, back in 2010. So showing our age a little here. Steve was quick to realise that working for a commercial gym isn't the best way to build a financially stable career. So he hired a personal training studio in central London and started his own PT business. He also accepted a job at Ultimate Performance, which is a globally recognised body fat transformation gym. UP has locations all over the world, and they've built a certain reputation as a leader in the industry. Steve talks about his hunger to become a successful strength and conditioning coach and some of the wrong turns that he took early on in his career. After working crazy hours and feeling close to burnout, he decided to take a break. He handed his clients over to his colleagues and he booked a long holiday in Australia. But he loved the mangoes and the avocados so much that he decided to stay in Australia and rebuild his personal training career from scratch. He accepted a job at a gym in Perth, and it wasn't long before he was back working crazy hours, getting out of bed at 4:15 a.m. and feeling burnt out and even a little depressed. Steve was stuck in his role and didn't really have an escape route until his permanent residency for Australia came through. As soon as he could, Steve left the gym and started working from his home garage gym. There's a lot we cover in this episode, from the work hard fitness industry culture, burnout, depression, finding a sustainable career, and being in control of your own career. So I hope you enjoy this episode. Let's get stuck in.
Yeah, so I do personal training from my home gym on a full-time basis, and I work with online clients as well. The majority of my clients vary from youth athletes all the way up to the 80, 90-year-old clients. So I've got a nice variety of clients. And that's basically what I do to pay my mortgage and bills. And
pay the bills, put
and
food
enjoy
on
my
the table,
life.
mate.
Yeah. And that's what I do from home now. So
And where is home, mate? Just so people know where you live now.
Perth, Australia.
Yeah,
Perth,
beautiful.
Australia. So we came here. Me and the missus came here about 6, maybe 7 years ago now. We flew to the East Coast. We'd done a bit of traveling for about 6-7 months. Landed in Perth. Absolutely loved it, and just had opportunity. And now we are residents, going for our citizenship. So yeah, crazy. Yeah,
That's
so
good,
we love it here. Perth's amazing. Incredible.
They'll let anyone in these days, don't they? That's good to hear, mate. It's going to be awesome to have a chat to you about, how you moved your career, like coming across from the UK to Australia, and then also just, building your own business, having that gym at home, and what that's allowed you to do. If we rewind and we go like way back to the start, mate, can you tell us, what got you into the health and fitness industry in the first place?
Yeah, so getting into the health and fitness industry is probably very similar to many other trainers. I played a lot of sport. I played football, soccer. I have to call it soccer now. I'm an Aussie. Jeez. I was talking to my mates and I said, "Yeah, did you watch the soccer on the weekend?" And they're like, "What?"
You've changed.
Oh, man, changed, man. So I played a decent level of football back home in the UK, and just picked up many injuries over the years, and I probably spent a whole season out, 10, 12 months out being injured. So I started getting in the gym, lifting weights, loved it. I felt invigorated. Like when I did get back to playing and training, I was the strongest. I could jump the highest. I could sprint the fastest. I was the fittest. I was a great athlete. I really was. So I just fell in love with the coaching as well. Once I started needing work, got into coaching, and then that's it really. Yeah, injuries, and then gym.
Yeah, awesome, mate. Was Virgin Active is where we met. Was that your first gig too?
It was, it was, Virgin Active, many years ago. So I came back from living in the north of England playing football, and I came back to London, and I went on a gym level 2 course, which will allow me to be a gym instructor. So then I got the job at the gym, Virgin Active in Angel. And so I did about 2 years as a gym instructor. And then they put me through my personal training certification. I did that in a couple of months because I was already PTing at that point in the gym. And then I stayed there for about a year doing personal training, and then left and did my own thing in the city.
Yep. So when you did leave, that the next step was hiring space. Was that where you went?
Yeah, I rented a space in just off Fleet Street, so where all the law firms are and all the big banks. And it's like back in the day, maybe a decade ago, it's where all the newspapers used to have all their offices, etc. But now it's all banking and so city slickers. City slickers that making lots of money. And very different to where I grew up and where I came from. So, and being younger, it worked in my favor, and I think it didn't at the same time. The way I spoke, the way I communicated with these sort of people. And sometimes for them, it was probably a breath of fresh air, something different for them to get out of their normal work routine and come and see me and work and train. And then some other people, maybe I was a bit too unprofessional. The way I spoke. And I think that was just, hey, that's just me, the way I was when I was young. It's part of growing in it and changing, you know what I mean? Becoming more mature, turning into a man, juggling and managing your own business, etc. You know what I mean? So it was in the city.
Yeah, awesome learning experience, mate. What did that allow you to do? So when you moved out of, obviously working at the commercial gym where you've got pretty strict sort of requirements on delivering sessions and your prices are out of your control and yada, 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 to being able to hire the PT studio and really be your own boss?
Mate, ultimately it was, I wanted to make more money. I wasn't happy with the gym taking all that money. And when you're young, I didn't care about where those clients were coming from. Like now I understand that, well, that's their members, and that's what gives me the opportunity to sign these clients up, right? Because that's their members and it's their base. They get them through the doors, and then my job would just be to sign them up. But being young, it was just like, oh wow, I can see the numbers. If I leave, pay this much rent a week, a month, I can make this much money. I could pretty much, I don't know what it was, double my income, or more, probably more than double my income, and do the same work and be in control and do what I want. So that was the biggest pusher for me to leave and go.
Yeah, nice one, mate. And then how long were you in the UK for? Like doing your PT stuff? How many years were you there?
So I was probably there for about I was probably a PT in London for about 6 years, I think it was. That was probably a year and a half at Virgin Active as a personal trainer, and then the remaining time as a running my own business from this inside the city. And then that's when I decided, well, actually at that point as well, I applied for a job at UP, Ultimate Performance, and I got the job. So what I decided to do was work there full-time and also work full-time from the studio that I was working at. So I was pretty busy.
Yeah, sounds it.
And man, I remember at some point buses not turning up on time, and I remember running, you know what I mean, from up in Old Street, running back down to Fleet Street to get to my client in time. I had half an hour. I'd get there, you know what I mean? But I remember like just sometimes being a couple of minutes late, turning up sweaty, then get straight into the session. I mean, how unprofessional is that? You know what I mean? I did that for a few months, and not bad mouthing UP, but working there, it opened my eyes to very, very high quality of training and, results. I mean, the levels of trainers were very, very high there, nutrition, training, very, very high. So I learned a lot, but it did also open my eyes up to, what's the word? That I don't need to be in that environment to get results and to think this is where, because being younger, I thought this is where I needed to be, looking up to these trainers and these fantastic guys, I mean? I thought that's where I needed to be, to get a name in the industry, but that's far from the truth. So I decided to leave there and then spent a few more months back in the city working full time. And then I was like, you know what? I need to travel. I need to get out of the UK. And so I just ended up giving all my clients away to two of my good friends. And then I just left.
Yeah.
I didn't plan to leave forever. The plan was to come back in, 3 months, 6 months. I really had no plan. But, a lot of trainers leave their jobs, leave their client base, and they sell their clients. I was just like, don't worry about it. Just take them all.
Yeah.
So they had a full diary, like
your mates must have loved you.
Yeah. And
see you, Steve, out the door.
Yeah, and it was one of them ones. Like now, if I did that, not that I would, I would try and transition all those clients that I had on the books to online clients, right? So I can continue to make money and continue to work with them. But back then, I didn't even do that. You know what I mean? I just got up and left. So, very young. Mistakes, maybe not. It's just the way it happened. And and then I went to Travel Australia.
Yeah. Maybe you're just showing your age now, mate. There probably wasn't that much online PT going on back then, was it?
True. Yeah, true.
Yeah, that's it. Before we sort of step into the Australian journey and how you've managed to rebuild your career over here in a way, I'd like to know a little bit more about what attracted you to Ultimate Performance. Do you think when you decided to take on that role?
Well, I was when I worked at Virgin Active, there were a few trainers that I looked up to, and one of those were yourself and a few other guys that you know of. And one of the things I said, I've got a growth mindset. So I said to you, I remember saying to one of you guys, I said, listen, I want to learn more. Where can I go? What can I study? And you guys said, go check out the PICP, the Charles Poliquin certifications. So I jumped on that, and through that, I learned about Ultimate Performance. And also one of the guys that was good friends with us at Virgin Active was Jeff, who was one of the senior trainers at Ultimate Performance. And I went down there once or twice to train with him down there, and I loved the vibe. I loved the atmosphere. The equipment was world class. The facility was just all about get in, work hard, get results, leave. You know what I mean? It was a real change from that commercial environment. And I loved it. And that got me hooked onto, this is where I need to be. This is where I need to be working, And that was a big hook for me. They have a big they have a big affiliation with Charles Poliquin, even to now, now that he's parts, they still have an affiliation with his way of training, etc. So that was the shift, for me.
Yeah, definitely, mate. I mean, there is obviously a lot of prestige around Ultimate Performance, and Nick Mitchell and the crew down there have done a great job to grow that business. And like you say, it's very results driven in terms of the body composition and the transformations. What was the reality of working there, though? So, it sounds like you've put it on a certain pedestal. It's the place you need to be. You love the vibe. But when you're in there, what happened?
I worked there for a couple of months, right? And I had a good time, Like I said, I was managing 2 full-time jobs. I was managing that, building my client base there, and then I was working with a full client base at the other gym. So it was not that I was stressed, but obviously I'm working hard and, trying to juggle too many things. So when I was there, they flew me out to Marbella, the Marbella facility, and I did they put me on a course with Charles Poliquin. And when I flew back, they wanted me to work the next day. All right, and I went into work and I started at like 6 a.m. And I was just like, wow, I've just been on this course. You know what it's like when you go on a course. You come back and you're like, yes, I'm on it. You know what I mean? You just feel invigorated, you know what I mean? Just new things to try and learn, study, apply, you know what I mean? And, I met a lot of people out there on the course. And when I got back, I spent a couple of weeks just sort of and ahhing, knowing that I did want to go travel, knowing that I didn't want to be known as a transformation coach only. I love sport and performance and all that. So I wanted to get onto a master's course.
Yeah.
I know I wanted to work with I know I didn't want to just niche down on as a transformation coach. So then I spent the next couple of weeks and ahhing, and then, that was in my mindset. And then I started realizing that the quality of some of the trainers weren't as what I expected. Then I was really like, I try and bring a lot of good quality to my sessions. And when I saw that other people weren't bringing that same quality, I was just a bit like, that's not fair, it wasn't as good as I thought, And I decided to send an email to the big boss. And I said to him, Nick Mitchell, sent him an email. I said, listen, I told him that. I said, listen, I'm going to be leaving, unfortunately. And this is why, because, this is what this is what my expectations were. And unfortunately, it's not what I expected.
Yeah. Yeah, fair enough, mate.
And that's what I said. I told him the truth.
Yeah.
And he emailed me back saying, that's fine, blah, blah, blah.
It's interesting though, because at that time you were working for Ultimate Performance, but you also kept your other job. And is that purely financial? Like, obviously there's the prestige and status coming with Ultimate Performance. Why weren't you all in with those guys? What stopped you from doing
I wasn't all in. I think obviously a big one is finances. The money that I was earning there, and and it's fair because I was a new trainer. You know what I mean? I don't expect to go in and make the same amount of money as other senior trainers or who have been there for years doing fantastic work, getting good results. So I went in there on a pretty low wage, all right? And, I'm making more than double, triple that on my own, doing way less hours. So financially, it was a reason why I continued. And also because, I enjoyed working with my clients in the city. I get to work with my pals that were down there in the gym. And financially, that's why I kept on to it.
Yeah, fair enough, mate. Would you recommend something like that to maybe a new personal trainer, someone just sort of starting out, starting to learn the ropes, working with, top quality trainers and building up their knowledge and experience in a gym like Ultimate Performance?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I mean, you get put in an environment like that, you're gonna I would expect you to be a fantastic trainer and upskill a lot and be really good at what we want to be good at, getting results.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you can step into a commercial gym as a newbie, just like I did, and I know a lot of people have, and just get coaching, get the hours, put in the hard graft, put in the work, and if you have a thirst for knowledge and learning, you can become a great trainer as well, But yeah, I'd highly recommend that for most people.
All right, so let's fast forward now. So you've given off your clients and you've decided that you want to travel. What brought you to Australia?
So I just wanted to travel. The two options were Canada and Australia. And I just decided to go Australia. Like, my missus that I traveled with, she has a cousin in Perth, and I have cousins in Perth that I'd never met before as well. So we were like, all right, let's go Australia. Let's fly to the East Coast. We travelled around. The plan was to sort of go further north, and then didn't even look at the map or speak to anyone about it, and then kind of come over the top to Perth. And you just can't do that, can you? Not in that time of year, anyway. Yeah. Anyway, so someone said, "No, you got to chase the sun, chase the sun." So I ended up buying a van. I took the seats out, put a bed in the back, and literally every night, every day, we would have to take our suitcase off the back, put it into the front, go to sleep, wake up, and then transfer it back every day. So we just travelled the whole of the East Coast, went south, Great Ocean Road, crossed the Nullarbor Plain, hit the south coast, then came up to Perth.
Yeah.
And that's what brought us here, really. Just like travel. Yeah, I love to travel and see the world.
Yeah, awesome, mate. What a trip. What an adventure.
Yeah, it's really fun. It's the best thing I've ever done. So cool. Just waking up, like no watch. Yeah. Didn't care about the time. Just sunset, sunrise, swimming, food. Oh, the mangoes. I thought I knew what a mango tasted like. I didn't realize what they tasted like until I came to Australia. And the avocados, they're so good. You know? Amazing. But yeah, Australia's amazing. It's a great place.
That's it, mate. Living the dream. And what a change from working
it's
as a PT in central London to be living in a van and traveling the rural parts of Oz.
Listen, I tell my clients all the time. I said, I used to go and work in a basement gym. Yeah. Actually, at Virgin Active, we were in the basement.
Yeah.
And at the gym that I worked in the city, we were in the basement. And some mornings I would go to work in the dark. Yeah. And I would leave at 4 p.m. and it would still be dark. So I wouldn't touch sunlight. No wonder everyone has depression and low vitamin D status. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just, it's not a good living.
It's not conducive to health, is it?
It's not at all. Not at all.
All right. So you've been on the road, you've traveled, you've got to Perth. When did you decide that, okay, I need to get back to work? And, how did you go about that?
So it was a pretty crazy story how it happened. It was meant to be. All right. So we got to Perth and probably had a couple of months left on the visa. So it was kind of like, let's just, like, we're getting low on money now. Yeah. So let's just make a bit of cash and then go back to Asia and then go back to London and go home, whatever. So the plan wasn't to stay in Australia. And the missus, she's a teacher. She does art. So she wanted to print some artwork off, right, that she drew. Not print, sorry. She wanted to scan and copy some of the artwork that she'd been drawing during our travels. So she went into these printers. And then off the cuff, he just offered her, he said, listen, can you do graphic design? Can you do graphics? And she was like, no, but I can learn. So he was like, listen, I'll give you a little job. And then we were like, yeah, sweet, take it. Let's just do it for a month or two and then we'll go off. So I said, all right, while you're doing that, I'll look for a little gym job. So I went into the city and went to one or two gyms, and the guy said, sorry, I don't have anything, but you should check these guys out north of the river. So I sent an email. I said, listen, I'm from London. I'm here for a month or two. I'm just looking for a little casual gym job, just, to get by. And then I want to be leaving. Within 30 seconds of me sending the email with my resume, bang, I got a phone call straight away. Yeah, yep. Literally, it wasn't even 30 seconds. It was literally when I pressed send, I got the phone call. It was automatic. And he said, listen, the guy said, come up tomorrow to the gym and we'll have a chat. He said, come up and train. Yeah, you can train, bang it out, and then we'll have a chat. So I went up there. I haven't trained for like bloody, 5-6 months. I didn't train while I was on the road. I was just like, nah, I'm just going to take a break. I went up there, banged it out. And then he said, listen, we just had a guy leave. And actually, when he was talking to me, he said, I've got a part-time opportunity for you. Like, if you wanted to take on a client base of someone who's leaving. And he said, we've got part-time hours for you, which was like, let's say 20 hours a week. Yeah. And then as I was talking to him, the trainer who was leaving walked in and he said, listen, boss, I'm not going part-time. I'm going full-time. See you later. I'm going up to the mines. So he said, oh, Steve, I've got a full-time job for you. I got 40 hours of work straight in.
Yeah.
And he said, when do you want to start? And I was like, tomorrow. And he was like, all right, cool. I'll see you at 5 a.m. And then that was it. I walked into a full diary of clients. Yeah. And I'm, half an hour sessions. I was doing 40 hours a week straight away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's how it happens, and now I know to this day that he said when he saw me warming up, he said, yeah, I'm gonna have this guy. And then after a few weeks of getting to know me, the guy said, I'm going to get this guy to stay. We need him to stay. Because obviously I'm a decent trainer. So, he wanted me to stay. So then they paid for the permanent residency for us to stay. And then that's how we're able to stay here now,
Yeah, yeah. Awesome, mate. It must have been a shock to the system going from not waking up without an alarm to 5 o'clock in the morning for 40 hours a week work.
At first I was buzzing. So it's all right. When you start a new job, you're like, yeah, raring to go. I was waking up at like 4:15, 4:20 every day.
Yeah.
For like 4 years, man.
Yeah.
Well, not every day. You know what I'm saying? I was waking up 5 days a week at 4:15, 4:20 in the morning, starting work at 5 a.m. Doing 12 sessions back to back. 6 hours of work. Yeah. So it's half an hour sessions at the gym there. And then go home, have a nap, eat, go in and train, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, 2 o'clock till 3 o'clock train, back on work 3:30 till 8 p.m.
Yeah.
And then I did that 5 days a week for almost 5 years.
Wow.
And like, you almost just get accustomed to it, you know, like you just, like just push through. And when you get your holidays, you just sleep. But I do remember, like, I always say to the missus now, I remember, like, after the first few months, I'm pretty sure I was depressed. I was burnt out and I was depressed. No, and you know what? Maybe I wasn't burnt out because I could push through. Didn't feel like I was burnt out, but I was definitely some sort of depression or something. Because I remember, like, you know, I'm just not being motivated to do anything. You know, I'm telling you, I was depressed. I'd be training, and I had training partners to keep me accountable. I'd go in and train, tired, fatigued, wouldn't be eating properly, wouldn't be sleeping properly. I was very, very unhealthy. I was probably in the best shape of my life. If you saw my physique, you'd be like, fuck, man, I was so strong. And I looked great, but I was so unhealthy.
Yeah.
So unhealthy. You know, if you took my blood pressure, it'd be through the roof. You know?
Was that the culture of the gym, or what do you think?
Oh, it was the culture. Yeah, it was the
led
culture.
to that.
Yeah.
Talk to us about that culture. Like, you already said you've worked long hours, but what else is going on there?
The two guys that owned and ran the gym, respect, great guys. But they're old school, just hard workers. And they had a fantastic client base. You know, they had real loyal customers who were working with them 2, 3, 4 times a week for the last decade. They had a real good business, but part of the business model was hard grinding and hard work. And they were built for that. You know, they were just built for that, old school. And not saying that it was healthy for them, because it's obviously not. You know, how long can you sustain that for? But them guys, different generation. But yeah, it was definitely the culture. You know, definitely the culture. You know.
Yeah.
You know, like Saturday morning we'd train together. We'd start about 5:30 in the morning on Saturday and work till about 10, 11ish. So we'd go in, 3, 4, 5 of us would go in at 4:30 to train. We'd train. And I remember doing leg sessions at 4:30 in the morning. I remember doing, like, you know, heavy leg training, heavy squats and deadlifts at 4:30 in the morning for 45, 50 minutes, shower, 5 minutes, straight into work.
Yeah.
It was just what I was brought into. But it did teach me hard work. It did teach me hard work, and I respect it for that, you know?
Yeah. Did you find it quite a competitive environment, like with the training and the pressure around you to be a certain level, or what was going on there?
The boys that ran the gym complemented each other very well. One was a real hard taskmaster, you know, like he was like fussy, picky, you know, like really, really like that. And the other one was way more laid back, both very hardworking. It was very competitive, yeah. It was very competitive, you know.
Yeah.
They come from, like, one of them comes from bodybuilding background, and he's very, very strong. So like he was like 41, 40 at the time, you know, but he would still school all of us. So everyone's trying to get to that level.
Yeah.
He probably never missed a session in 20 years, sort of thing, you know. Just real disciplined and hardworking.
Yeah.
So like that was bred through the whole gym, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I respect the guys for that. But yeah, it was definitely competitive environment.
Yeah. What was the standard of coaching, and what was sort of going down in the gym?
Not good. The coaching wasn't good. And I think that's where, you know, I think that's where when I went in, it was for them, it was, oh, okay, this is a good trainer, you know, and someone who's knowledgeable and cares about setting goals for clients, you know, like the basics that we do, you know, like set goals, write programs, organize your training and their nutrition for them and all that sort of stuff. But I can see why that wasn't being done by other people and other coaches and trainers, because they're doing too much. You know, like I said, I would do 20 clients a day.
Mm.
Them guys would maybe do 24, 26, you know, like I would do 20 sessions a day. That's 20 different personalities, 20 different people. How do you manage to control that many clients over the week? You know, you can't. It's just, you know what I mean? You can't do that.
Yeah, no, it really makes you question though. Like when you look at that, like I can understand the gym owners trying to help as many people as they can, but is the health and wellness of their staff a priority? Is the health and wellness of their clients actually a priority?
But this is the thing. This is the thing, Stretch. Sorry to cut you off. Like for them, they would say, "I'm 100% certain." And they'll say, "Of course it is." But we've been doing it for 20 years, and we're all right.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. That's not to say they're not going to break down soon or whenever. You know, touch wood they don't. But I'm not in it for that. I'm not in the game to go through that many clients and to overwork. You know.
Yeah.
I enjoy the job because I love helping people. I think I'm good at what I do, and it's a great job to have a good lifestyle. You know, you can have your own business and get paid well. You know.
Yeah.
But the quality of training wasn't good there, which is obviously why I stood out as the world's best trainer. You know what I mean? So the quality wasn't good, you know?
Yeah.
And that's probably partly why when I left, 99% of my clients came with me.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome, mate. Well, let's jump into that a little bit. Actually, before we do you mind if I ask you, like, you know, you've gone back now working for someone else. What was the pay like when you were working at this gym in Perth? You're working a lot of hours. What do you think you were bringing home sort of weekly, monthly, if you can remember?
Mate, I was doing a full-time job, yeah. So I was doing 40 hours a week and I would make about $30 an hour. So I would go through 2 clients in an hour. The average client session was $50, yeah? For half an hour. That's how much the gym would make, $50 per session. So the gym would make off me $100 a session. I would get paid 30. Sorry, $100 an hour. I would get paid 30 an hour.
Yeah.
All right. So we worked it out over the year. That's like, you know, 67K.
Yeah.
You know, per week it's about 1,200 before taxes.
Yeah.
Something like that.
And that's your working hours. Like when you think about that $30 an hour, that's $30 an hour working with clients, but that's not taking into consideration the time that you were waiting for clients. The clients don't turn up, or the programming, or the nutrition guidance, or everything else around that. Correct?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and you know, like a big part of the work that I do is, you know, programming and nutrition and chasing clients, making sure they stay like keeping them accountable and, you know, chasing them, make sure they do the gym session and, you know what I mean, all that sort of stuff, gym sessions by themselves, etc. So it was a lot more than 40 hours, as you know. It's way more than that, you know. And I had a little bit of admin to do at the gym as well, which wasn't much. It was like, you know, maybe a few hours a week, you know, putting in names and sessions into their computer system that they would use. But yeah, it was more than 40 hours. Let's say 50 hours a week. Right, just add 10 on.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's 50 hours. I'm getting paid for 40 of them, $30 an hour. It's not much, you know.
No.
So that was hard for me to take, but because of the amount of money I was making in London for doing far less, it was so difficult for me to accept. And I think over that first year, that's one of the reasons why I felt like I was just angry. I would wake up. I remember waking up at 4:15 in the morning. My alarm would go off and I'd open my eyes and I'd be like, just, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's not the way to live, man.
No.
But it was about $30 an hour that I was making. But by the time they pay for my permanent residency, which is, you know, me and for the missus, that's a lot of money as well.
Yeah.
Which I'm always forever grateful for, that they helped me get a permanent residency to stay in the country.
Yeah.
But by that point, they kind of had me by the balls, right? I've got to work for them for another 2 years. It took 6 to 9 months to come through. I've got to commit 2 years to their company. The ball was definitely in their court, you know?
Yeah, exactly, mate. Like you've already said, the pay wasn't great. The quality of the coaching around you wasn't great. You're burnt out. You're feeling depressed. You're angry. Like there's a lot going on there, but you're stuck there because of the visa situation.
Yeah, and this is it. Like when I reflect on it now, I mean, I had some fantastic, like, I had a real good time working there, like training was brilliant. The banter was brilliant, working with all these clients, different people that are still really good friends to this day. They took me and the missus in, treated us like family. We made really good friends,
Yeah.
And we had the opportunity to stay in Australia,
Yeah.
So I'm forever grateful for that and that hard work. I do feel the reward was there for that,
Yeah.
But yeah, from a financial perspective, I remember every day we had a little coffee shop in there, and there was another company that were running the coffees. And every day about 7 a.m. I'd just be like, get a flat white, yeah, $5 flat white, and then and then the missus would be like, we can't afford that, man. We can't afford to spend $25-$30 a week on coffees, man. We don't have any money. Like we were making. I was eating tins of tuna for lunch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And salad. I was making no money. And I remember, I said, I'm going to try and save some money every week. I was saving like $20 a week, $30 a week in my account. I couldn't save. Like, what the hell? You know what I mean? So I weren't even allowed to buy coffees.
No,
so what is it?
tins of tuna and salad for lunch, mate. No wonder you're feeling depressed. And you can't enjoy your flat white. The missus is going to break your balls. But anyway,
after we booked the first trip back to London, I was working at the gym at that point for about 11 to maybe 13 months or so. I can't remember exactly. Maybe longer than 13 months. Maybe like 15 to 18 months I was working at that gym, and we'd had the trip booked back to London. I went back to London for about 5 weeks, and when I came back, I was buzzing. I was so happy. It was my first year on my masters, went really well. It was just good to see everyone and feel invigorated, and I felt good coming home. Then when I went back, I said, "Listen, I want to get paid more. This is it. You're going to pay me more money." So then they decided to put my hourly rate up.
Yeah.
So I was able to get paid more for that. Then after another year of doing that, then I did it again, So for every year that I worked there, my wage went up, obviously.
Yeah. Well, it's good that you had the balls to ask, mate. I think a lot of personal trainers can feel trapped, and we can just accept what we get paid, and we don't, put that pressure on the gym managers or owners, and consider what we're actually doing to help them grow their business. It doesn't sound like it's a job that was sustainable, though. You mentioned that already. Could you see yourself working there into your 40s and 50s? Is that a role that you could keep doing?
No, to be honest, one of the things that I always said when I worked there is I do not want to be doing this when you see the bosses, like the boss was 39, 40. I do not want to be in his position. I don't care how much I'm ever getting paid. I don't care if you pay me $1 million. I'm not waking up 6 days a week like this guy does. At 4 a.m. in the morning, starting work at 4:30 in the morning. I'm not doing that. And then getting home at 8:30 every night. I'm not doing that. Never. You could pay me $1 million more. I'm never doing that in my lifetime. Take 2 weeks off a year. You're having a bubble. Come on, man. What's your life about? Well, your life is about work and making money. You can't bloody spend it and enjoy it anyway.
Yeah.
Number one, your happiness and your family. And number two, or 1 and 2, your health and your happiness and your family. That's it. Nothing else matters. You know what I mean? That should be what people. So I couldn't imagine doing that when I'm bloody 40. So that's what made me think I need to get out of this.
Yeah. Oh, that's great, mate. It sounds like
Sorry,
you had
I don't know if I answered your question.
No, you did. You did, definitely. It's good to hear it that way. And I think, it's a lot of trainers don't have a vision. Like, we don't set, where do I want to be in 3 years from now? Where do I want to be in 5 years? When I am 40, what's my career going to look like? It sounds like you were starting to think then about, okay, what's the type of job I do want? How did you come up with the idea of opening the home gym? Like, when did that sort of come to vision to you?
Well, you know what, Stretch? I just want to touch on something quickly from before, about the hours that I was working, how I felt, and the money that I was making. Shit, yeah. But it still allowed me to buy this property. You know what I mean? I got a property now, got my house, renovating it. You know what I mean? It still allowed me to get in this position that I'm in now. You know what I mean? So if I hadn't gone through that, I wouldn't have my own home gym and my own house and now living the life that I'm here to live. You know what I mean? So it was meant to be.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It is what it is. It was meant to be. So my plan was to always leave that gym facility after I finished my masters. I did a 4-year masters. I did it in 3 years.
Yep.
So I worked at that facility for 4 years. I think it was the first year not doing the masters, the last 3 doing the masters. So the plan was, yes, to leave after my masters, which I ended up doing. And I decided, just, you know what, I got this garden. It's got a bunch of trees and plants in the back. I'm going to gut it all and build a shed. So I built the shed and built the gym in there. And then I said, listen, I'm just going to work from home, innit? Fuck it. It is what it is.
Yep.
You know, I'll make it work. I'm going to have to, innit? I've got bills to pay. I've got a mortgage to pay.
Got a mortgage to pay.
But when you know what it's like, when you work out how much you need to get by, it's like, man, if I charge this much, I'm going to charge more than what them guys charge per session. I'm above industry standard, I feel. So I put my rates up, come home, and, you know, like I said, 99% of my client base just came with me. They paid more money.
Yeah.
And they train in a bloody shed. So yeah, now I'm lucky enough to be in a position where, you know, the goal was to say, oh, let me work less and make more money, you know, like work smart. But now I'm working the same amount of hours, and you know, I don't need to tell you how much money I'm making, but I'm making a lot more than I was then. But now I don't feel tired. I don't feel upset and depressed. I'm not stressing about anything. You know, I don't wake up at 4:20 either. I roll out of bed and go straight into the gym. No, I don't. But you know what I mean? You know, I just wake up, spend half an hour getting showered, having breakfast, and I walk out and work. Yep. You know, it's not. I still start at 5 a.m. in the mornings. That's because these Aussies are crazy. They like to train early in the morning.
Train early, mate. Train early.
Know?
Yeah. No, exactly.
But yeah, so my lifestyle is how I want it to be, you know, and how I imagined it being living in Australia.
Yeah, that's great to hear, mate. It's, you know, you have put in the hard work. You know, you talked about the hours that you were working in London, 2 jobs. You talk about coming here and, you know, putting in the hours at the gym. You were doing your masters at the same time as obviously you were doing your just doing all these crazy hours in the gym. What do you put it down to?
That was hard.
Yeah. What do you put it down to now? Like, obviously life's changed a fair bit since you've opened this home gym, and you're saying you're feeling better for it. Like, what are the big factors that you think have contributed to that?
I think there's a few different areas that I'll touch on. Firstly, you know, being in that environment and learning hard work and graft, I think that really helped. You know, teach me that hard work and graft is important. You know, I mean, you can't be soft. You got to work hard. Yeah, it's really important to work hard. And I had to be very organized managing that many clients. So it taught me how to be organized. Having a lot of friends back home, excelling at what they do with their business and their personal training careers, like seeing that happen, like it motivated me as well to think, fuck man, I need to do that. You know what I mean? Like one of my good friends, Darren, like he lived in Sydney, and then he decided to break up with his missus and go back to London. He come here and he was like, fuck it, I'm just going to do this online thing. He was like, fuck it. And then we did a little live together, and he had like not even 5 people watching it. And I was laughing. I was like, this is, you know what I mean? And now, 3 years later, man, that guy's killing it. Yeah. I don't care how he's done it. He's absolutely smashing it. And he is living the best life, the life that he wanted, and making fantastic money to go with it. Yeah. So it's like seeing all my friends and, like, you know, excelling at what they are doing with their careers is motivating, you know what I mean? And it makes me want to do that as well. So having the people around me is important. But I think, you know, the missus obviously is motivating for me, and she helps me a lot, you know, keeps me in check. If I'm honest, keeps me in check with being organized as well and that sort of stuff, you know, and pushing, you know, like making me push and work harder, you know, to be in a better position for myself and for our life, that we want to have. It's just being in control of my own hours, being in control of what I do with my business, being in control of everything about it, from the account side to my diary side to how I want to train people, when I take my holidays, my hours that I want to work, all that sort of stuff,
Yeah.
down to little things like the equipment that I want to invest in and purchase. I'm in control. I like being in control.
Yeah.
So that sort of stuff's helpful.
Yeah, it's nice that you get to set your own sort of structure, the hours that you work with your clients, the way, the style you train your clients, the message that you deliver to your clients. There's so many benefits that you've obviously got going now that you've just got your own facility and you can do it your way.
I think, obviously, like coming from London, working in an environment like I did here, very much like if you come into the gym there, you have to work your balls off and leave. If you puke up, then that's good. You know what I mean? But that's not my philosophy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, as a coach, that's not my philosophy. As you know, we've got to work smart. There are times when we might be pushing and working to those extreme points, but it depends on who you are and where you are with your levels of stress, etc. I bring that here to my home gym now. All my clients that work with me. Listen, if you're stressed, like my client just finished the marathon. She texts me, I'm not coming in this week. Is that okay? I said, of course it's all right. Like, you shouldn't even be texting me that.
Yeah.
Whereas at other facilities, you're still required to come in and go hard. Whether that's the money or just the culture or the education of coaches. I mean, like, there's more to life than just training, as we know. And, recovery and all that stuff is very important.
Yeah, no, exactly that, mate. And like you say, you get to do it your way now, which is definitely a bonus in that sort of context. Talk to me about now. You've got your home gym. You've moved a lot of your clients. They've just come across. When you've decided to do that, there's obviously a big learning curve. You've gone from working for someone else that takes care of the accounts, who takes care of maybe the memberships, the stuff happening in the background, and now you've got an extra load of responsibility. How did you find stepping into that?
I found it all right. Like working back in London, obviously I was managing my own business as well. And being younger, not as mature, I wasn't handling all that stuff well. So I remember just before leaving, and actually I remember being in Australia, still emailing back and forward with my accountant at the time, trying to get all my expenses and all my ingoings and outgoings together, while I was traveling, because I was so unorganized with it all. So leaving that gym, you know what that gym actually taught me about all the business side? Keep it fucking simple. Just keep it simple. Hire people who know what they're doing. So spend money on people that know what they're doing, like accountants, etc. But keep things simple how you work with clients. They don't want to be overwhelmed with multiple emails and different ways to sign up and different, like I tell my clients now, when you come in, this is the option. Like, this is the premium service and this is that. You've got two options. Is the only option to pay is this. You know what I mean? And that's it, done. So on my end, it's a lot easier to manage that because I've not got a load of shit going on. So I don't find it too difficult to manage all that, the business side of it.
Yep.
But saying that, I am older and more mature to handle a lot more data and numbers now anyway. I think my master's taught me that, had to be organized with Excel, had to use the Excel spreadsheet.
What do you feel has been the hardest part about opening this gym? Is it client attraction? Is it managing accounts? Like what things have probably been the most difficult?
The most difficult right now, I'm quite confident to say that, managing the business side hasn't been a problem. I don't market except for social media. I don't market my business with SEO or on that sort of stuff. I get lots of referrals, but I can't take anyone else on at the moment, so I straight away push them onto my online service. So I'm quite lucky with my business at the moment, on all those sides. The bit I struggle with is working alone. Not having people to bounce ideas off, not having people to train with, not having people to have a bit of banter with, not having different clients in at the gym at the same time. So, you know what I mean? Like it's one-on-one, like can be a bit boring and lonely.
Yeah.
You know, that's difficult.
The atmosphere, mate. The atmosphere is not quite the same, is it?
Yep. The atmosphere, yeah, it's definitely not the same. But I wouldn't change it for any you know, I mean, but I wouldn't change it for what I get out. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
But yeah, for me, that's the hard part.
Yeah, definitely. I think a lot of coaches find that too, mate. We go from working in, you know, such a great atmosphere with the gym and being surrounded by colleagues and surrounded by clients, and then whether you move online or whether you do open your own space and it's just you, it is something that we definitely miss. And staying connected with coaches and staying connected with, it sounds like you stay connected with a lot of your past colleagues in London, which is great.
I try to.
Yeah, definitely, mate. Talk to us a little bit more about the online business. When did that sort of come about, and you know, how do you sort of run that?
So I've always sold myself as someone that can do online training for the last few years, you know, like, you know, 3, 4, 5 years, you know, or ever since I've been a trainer, but I've never actually sold it, you know, like I've never said, oh yeah, you know, like come train me online, you know. I've done it a few times here and there, but not really pushed it as the main source of income or a big source of income. But, you know, just putting more content out there for people and having, you know, being in Australia and having a lot of people that know me across Europe, I've just had people come and ask me, you know, through email, WhatsApp, or, you know, through social media, listen, I want to upskill as a trainer, or I want to improve for my sport or body composition. Can I work with you? Can I work with you online? So, yeah, cool. So I'll do it like that. But the last 6 months, I've definitely sort of put the product together now and sold the product. So I'm still working on refining the processes of it and scaling it better. You know, I'm slowly doing it. It's hard to manage with my one-to-one business time, but you know what it's like, just getting all these processes in place, then it's done. You know what I mean? So, so yeah, I work with online clients now. Training, nutrition, that sort of stuff.
Yeah, excellent, man. Do you have a particular client niche, or do you find yourself attracting a certain demographic? Like earlier on, you mentioned you've got lots of different age groups there, but who are your typical clients that you're working with?
So with my one-to-one clients, I have about 30 to 40% of them. About 33% of them are youth athletes. So like, you know, I work with a swimmer, under 15 swimmer. He just won the States. Now he's going nationals. I work with the best javelin thrower in Western Australia for his age group. He's going nationals next week. Hopefully pick up a medal. A couple of rugby players. So I'm working with pretty high level youth athletes, actually, you know, like pretty decent level. So that's fun, you know, teaching them how to move and how to be mature and be disciplined and that sort of stuff. The next group of clients, the other 33% that I work with, are the elderly. Teaching them how to get strong, teaching them how to be more mobile, teaching them how to have more confidence, that sort of stuff. And then the other 33% at home would just be those middle-aged people that are working on body composition. You know, fat loss, building muscle, that sort of stuff. So they are really my 3 groups of people. So yeah, they're my 3 niches, really.
Yeah, like we say, when you're working in the gym, like it's you really sort of the geographical location brings you your clients. If you niche too much, you know, it's a difficult thing to maybe find enough clients. So it makes sense that, you know, you definitely go broader there, or you have multiple niches. If I ask you who you enjoy training the most, would one stand out above the rest, or?
Hopefully none of them have listened to this. I don't think they will, because they're clients, isn't it? I probably enjoy, I'll give you my reasons quickly. The youth athletes are good to train because I find it really challenging. Every week they're like baby giraffes. Every week they grow and then they don't know how to touch their toes or squat. You know what I mean? They're always having to coach and teach them a new skill a little bit differently, you know. And it's rewarding because they're all fairly high level for their age. So, you know, there is a big reward, you know, like they're texting me, or their parents are texting me saying, you know, they get medals or qualifying for this and that. very rewarding, and I can practice what I learned on my masters.
Yep.
With the elderly population, that's very fun as well, because give them a lot of confidence. Like improve their balance, their functionality. Like clients come in, and I got a text this morning from one of my clients saying, Steve, I had the best game of golf. You know what I mean? Like the best game I've ever played. I won it. I'm like, well, he can bend now. He can move his hips and his thoracic. So I love that reward as well. Like helping people just feel better, move better, feel stronger, and maybe give them some better longevity. Then the ones in the middle are the ones in the middle. They want to work on the boring body composition. Which doesn't really,
it's not the most exciting in general, is it?
Not
really?
the most exciting.
If you're a pizza hits niches in that and you love it, yeah, fair enough. There is
exactly
a lot of opportunity there. Yeah.
Yeah, and I just find it really, not that it's boring, but it's very it's just, there are fundamentals to it that you need to do, and that's it really, isn't it? You want to lose weight, get into an energy deficit, apply enough stress and volume, make sure you recover, then you're all good, hopefully, most of the time. And, if you're building muscle, you know what you need to do. Whereas the other areas is a lot more open and challenging,
Yeah. Yeah. You like a challenge, mate. And it also sounds like it's great to have that feedback from, obviously youth athletes and even from the elderly knowing that you're making, such a positive impact on their lives in such a great way.
And the good thing about working with the elderly is it's really good for my diary and my schedule, because they can train whenever they want, and I put them into times where I'll work with them 6 a.m., 7 a.m., 8 a.m., 9 a.m., 10 a.m. I'm done. I'm done. You know what I mean? So now I'll work 5 a.m. I'll finish at 10, maybe 11. I'm done for the day. You know what I mean? So
what do you do with all your free time, mate?
I'm boring, man. I read research papers. I just study. I don't do anything else. Train. Actually, I like walking along the beach. Always go for walks at the beach, at the coast.
Yeah.
I like carpentry and stuff. So I like working on the house. Working. I like doing the gardening and stuff. Like, you know what I mean? It's weird. I'm getting old, isn't it? I like doing the gardening. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Mate, you've missed your calling, maybe.
Mate, trying to get when I get my grass green, and then trying to maintain it green drives me insane. Drives me insane. If I get it all patch, I'm trying to get it right now. Got family coming on the weekend.
Yeah,
it's almost there. It's really so yeah.
They're going to judge you on your grass, mate.
Oh no. Yeah.
What's the vision for the future, mate? How are you going with your career? Where do you want to take things? You're thinking more online? Are you continuing to work, one-to-one? What's going to happen, do you feel?
You know what, mate? I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to plan and book my trip back to London in July. I've got family coming next week. Hopefully come back, go back to London in July, see what's what at Christmas. For me, like I said, it's lonely working in the gym by myself. Should I open a facility? Should I do that right now with COVID? Maybe not. But the options are there. Should I push a bit more online? Is it sustainable? I don't know, Or should I just keep grinding away at what I'm doing? Because I'm happy. I think I'm happy just to cruise for now, for the next 6 to 12 months, I'm happy to cruise, keep pushing my online stuff a little bit more, keep my business nice and sustainable, travel, and that's it really. I'm very cruisy like that,
Yeah. No, it's great to hear, mate. Like I said, it sounds like you've done really well to get on your feet here in Australia and to build a career that is sustainable and one that gives you that freedom and also doesn't leave you feeling depressed, burnt out and under the weather, mate. So big changes from the darkness in London and big changes from obviously the long hours that you worked here in Australia. What advice might you offer, personal trainers that are maybe stuck in the gym and feeling like there's no way out, doing long hours, maybe feeling depressed and down? Like what's some insight you could probably share besides everything you've offered already?
I would, you know what, like I'm always telling this to people, when they ask me about work, they said, "Oh, are you busy?" with work. You're keeping busy, you're keeping busy. And I always say, I'm as busy as I want to be. Not, I never say, yeah, I'm busy. I don't want to be busy. I don't want to be too busy. I'm as busy as I want to be, because I want to come to Australia. I come to Australia to live the life I want to live.
Mm.
All right. Now, if that means on Friday mornings, I want to go for a coffee with the missus and go for a half an hour walk, then I'll do it. I'll move clients. Not that I do that, like every Friday morning, but I'll make sure I don't work that time or that weekend. If I want to go back to London in July for 4 or 5 weeks, I'll make sure I book it, and I don't care. Like I might not be making the same income that I am if I'm working, but I don't care. I just want to live the life I want to live, and to me, that means spending time with my family, working on my house, seeing and talking to my friends, making sure I stay healthy, and not overworking. You know what I mean? And that's it. So anyone that is in that position, think about what makes you happy. If it's money, that's fine. If it's traveling, go and travel. Like you only get one shot. You know what I mean? You hear it. We know these things. You got one shot. Live the life you want to live. Do what makes you happy. You know what I mean? And that's it.
Yeah. That's sound advice, mate. Definitely. Reflecting back, though, now just before we sort of finish up, reflecting back on those early years and London and even here in Australia, do you think there was an opportunity for you to do something different? I mean, still PT, but do you think you could have got out of, that crazy working hours and that lifestyle sooner? Or do you think that you had to do that grind that was, building your base and getting to where you needed to be?
I think my situation was very different to the advice I might give someone. I definitely think a big part of getting into a position where you don't have to work and you can travel, make good money, have more freedom, is you need to be good at what we do. You know what I mean? Like you need to upskill, you need to spend money on education, you need to pay for people who have been there, done it, and have good mentors. Yeah, so you can get there faster, and so that you get their advice and you don't make the same mistakes that other people have made.
Yeah.
You can get there that way. But for me, like I said, I was in a position where I came to Australia and I had nothing, and they offered me, work, and they offered me, opportunity to have residency. So I had to take it. So they had me by the balls,
Yeah.
So if otherwise I wouldn't be in Australia. I don't think I would be here still.
Yeah.
So I hope that answers your question.
No, definitely, mate. It's a unique scenario that you had there with the visa that was really tying you down. I think we touched on that before. If you could have left there earlier, you would have. It wasn't in line with your beliefs. It wasn't in line with the way you train your clients and stuff. You just put up a really good point there that I'd like to ask you as well. It's just about the mentors. You mentioned that you did some work with Charles. Obviously, you worked at Ultimate Performance, and those guys were good at some time. Who have been some of the big mentors throughout your career, and is that just in training, or have you also had business mentors as well?
First of all, I want to make a point that there is a lot of information that you can get online and by reading books. All right, no, nothing in particular, but you can get a lot of free information, and if you remember that information and apply it, you can get to that next step. All right, you might not get to where you want to be, but you can definitely, start the process of getting there. But yeah, I think my first bunch of mentors were yourself, Josh, and Jeff from London, Virgin Active.
Yeah.
That was the first time anyone guided me and put me and said, "Go there." Because I respected you guys a lot, because you guys were good quality, and then you went and did your own thing and it was successful. I respected that. You guys said, go there, upskill. So I went and did it. And then from there, they put me on, Charles Poliquin. And then, a lot of my friends are my own, like, sort of mentors, like Andy, Diran, yourself. Never had a business coach.
Yeah.
Never had a business coach. Maybe going forward I might, but
Yeah. Do you think you picked up a lot of those business skills that you mentioned before, like when you were working in the gym, you had some admin responsibility, you got to see how those guys ran those businesses. Do you think that it was more sort of on the job learning and watching what was going on that helped you
definitely
get to that state?
Yeah, definitely. These guys would have like a Monday, from 12 till 3, and a Wednesday from like 11 till 3, and it would just be all admin based. And I've sort of taken that schedule over to what I do here. Like I've kept that schedule. But a lot of that, a lot of stuff I learned was from just being on the job and doing it really. Yeah.
Awesome, man. If people want to learn more about what you do or, get in touch with you and have a chat, where's the best place they can find you, Steve?
The best place that I'm most active is social media. Stephen Collins Training. That's Instagram, Facebook. Dabbled a little bit in YouTube as well, but not much on there. Or check out my website, stephencollinstraining.com. Otherwise, hit me up with an email if you have any questions, etc. At stephencollinstraining.com as well.
Awesome, Steve. It's been a pleasure to have you on the podcast, mate. And it's been great to hear about your journey. Yeah,
thanks. Been a pleasure being on.
If you believe personal trainers deserve to have a sustainable career that allows them to work less and earn more, then you're in the right place. I'm going to show you how to have a results-driven personal training career with a step-by-step career coaching framework that teaches you how to build and scale your career without burning out. I'm Stretch, and I'm a personal trainer just like you. If you're like me, you relish the gratifying feeling of supporting your clients to reach their goals. But being a high achiever in a helping others live a better life industry comes with perfectionism, people-pleasing, shooting, and burnout. Being a passionate coach and having a career that gives you fulfillment, freedom, and financial stability isn't easy. The problem is, a lot of personal trainers are sacrificing their health and happiness in the pursuit of an unsustainable career path. After working in the industry since 2010, the best solution I found was to build an online career that allowed me to have both freedom and financial stability. If you're a passionate personal trainer and you want to build a sustainable career that allows you to work less and earn more, you're going to want to check out the Protect the Asset Career Coaching Program. It's a step-by-step coaching framework that helps personal trainers feel cool, calm, and collected about their future. Visit protecttheasset.co and start building a sustainable career that allows you to work less and earn more. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Protect the Asset podcast. I'd be grateful if you could leave a comment, add a review, and share this episode with those who might find it helpful. Thanks for listening, and I wish you all the success and happiness with your personal training career.